Uh, just because I feel like it, slipping back into the black and white, that sort of thing. I think I'm probably going to be stuck black and white for the next, you know, few days because I still have to go back and play the other part of that surrealist game on Friday. That's going to be interesting. I just figured I'd make a blog talking about stuff that's been going on recently and the games I'm planning. So far, I have right now my Fate campaign that I'm planning on doing on Sundays now. Should be kind of cool because we have more people joining and leaving, that sort of thing, trying to get the party kind of evened out, and this is going to be the point where the party actually starts like getting together and like working together and doing stuff to actually stop, you know, what's going on. Or at least trying to figure out what's going on at all, you know. Because even I'm not sure yet. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll come up with something. Cause it's Fate. They could just say, "Oh, this is a good idea. Why don't we just go with this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." So I'm working on that this weekend. I'm also doing like a little one shot sort of one-on-one Numenera thing with a friend of mine. Gonna be kind of fun to do that because Numenera is a really fun, simple, easy system to work with, as long as you can come up with like a really creative or interesting like idea. It's no sweat to really just run it, off the cuff if you need to, because you don't even need to pick up a die. So as the GM, so it's really easy to just run it if you have something in mind. I don't right now, so I'm gonna have to work on that, get it done by the end of this week. Then I have I'm working on right now preparing for a World of Darkness game, and even though I'm running the Fate campaign, but what I basically decided with this game is I wanted to prepare it early. I wanted to work on it in advance because I knew World of Darkness was really complicated. And again, it's a genre that I'm not really like as skilled in. I like horror and atmosphere and mystery, but yet I have a hard time tackling it myself, which is why I'm kind of pushing myself to try really hard to try and create this sort of horrific atmosphere and mood and feeling, and I want to really try and do everything I can to capture that in my game. And if I can't, then I'm going to try to ask my players how I can do it better, or if we can just run, like, because you can do hack and slash games in World of Darkness. I just want it to be more of like a surrealist, like, hack and slash, where it's just like, you're fighting a ghost. You can't see it. So you can hack and slash it all you want, but you don't know where it is. So good luck hitting, you're going around like basically going around your apartment, like trying to hit random objects to scare the ghost away. Like, I want to make it, if I do end up making it an action game, I want to have really interesting action set pieces. And if I don't do that, then I want to have a really cool intertwining mystery to kind of go through the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, it might just end up being more of an action-oriented kind of game. I want it to be serious. Like, that's the only thing that I'm not really willing to compromise on, is I don't want it to be like a comedy. I want it to be like at least dark and brooding, if nothing else, and sort of have like a dark mood. Even if I can't get the genre of like a mystery going, I'd like for it to at least, if it focuses too heavily on action, then I'm gonna make the action interesting, and if it focuses too much on mystery, because I feel like I like having a balance, I like having a little bit of both, then I'll put more effort into that, I could figure out a good mystery if you give me, enough time. I kind of set up for the first session, it's sort of going to be like I kind of describe it in my own head, like a TV show pilot. So I'm going to basically air it, put this session out to the players the way I'm probably going to end up planning the rest of my sessions, as sort of this action mystery kind of thing, and then fine tune it from there, see how they react to that, and it's a really big group too. I have like a large group of players, so much so that I'm kind of putting the group is about 8 or 9 people, and I'm basically, for each session, I'm doing parties of them. So like each character is going to have their own group. Each set of characters is going to have their own group. So there's going to be parties within the party. And I'm not going to try to have them all together at once, because that would be ridiculous. I'm going to let them all sort of go off and do their own thing and each have their own spotlight. I honestly think it's easier that way to give, like, because if I want to give one character a spotlight, I can literally put them on their own and say, okay, it's your turn now. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It just takes a lot of work, because World of Darkness is very complicated in terms of like lore and the information that goes into it. Like, for example, different creatures have different stats. Like if you look at not different stats, but like different ways they can use their stats. Like ghosts apply their stats differently to different roles compared to like a human would. And I also have a bunch of mixed races. The game now is mostly focusing on mages, so that's going to be interesting in itself, because mages in World of Darkness have the ability to do freeform magic, which I love. Except when my players have freeform magic and they start learning how to use it, they're going to mess up everything I do, and I'm okay with that, because I want to see how they mess me up. I want them to mess me up because I want to get messed up. I'm pretty much trying to leave as much open room as possible. Like, I'm going to give them as few clues as possible, because I'm expecting them to literally just use magic to solve everything. And that's what their character kind of shouldn't be doing, but I kind of want to force them in that direction, where it's like, oh hey, you're a mage, use your magic, because that's what you do. I mean, you could use investigation skills, but it would be a lot harder. Why don't you just use your spell to find the answer? Because you can. That sort of thing. And that's going to have consequences depending on how they choose to approach what they do, because mages also have to be very careful how they use magic in this game. As powerful as it can be, even at the highest level of using magic, you still have to be very careful and concise when crafting and using spells. So I think it's going to be an interesting experiment to see. Some players are going to have more of a strict plot line, where some of the characters are going to like one of the characters is specifically a bounty hunter kind of character, so he's going to have strict, like, sort of, hey, you should go here and do this, whereas other players are like, you have this general goal within the city, so accomplish that however you want. So it's also a mixture of different objectives and mission types, as I would say if it was some kind of video game. It's going to be sort of interesting how it all sort of plays together, because it's not only different races and different kinds of players and different groups and different, mechanics. It's also different styles within each group. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think I'll explain it a little more once we actually get past the first session. And we're getting closer to running the first session. I'm probably going to be doing some sort of like rule teaching session at some point, because right now we're just sort of pre-discussing, making our characters, fleshing out our characters, because it's very important for World of Darkness. The focus is on the characters, so you want to have them be very developed and like fully fleshed out before the game starts. Have a full backstory and all that, So once that's done with, I think we'll start moving into like actually learning the game and the mechanics, getting them all solid down for all the players. Make sure they're all ready to play. Make sure they all know what all their supernatural stuff is, because it gets really complicated when there are multiple races. They all have different abilities, they all have different traits. And then get that all figured out, then we could maybe start thinking about playing at some point, I hope, But I'm not in any rush, because we're still running the Fate game. That's more of like something I want to do on the side, and ended up being a major thing. But it's good, because the Fate game is very fun too. What I'm thinking with this World of Darkness game, though, is I'm going to put a lot of effort into it and basically keep running it for as long as I can. Like, unlike a lot of my other sessions where I'm kind of just getting things done to get them out of the way, I really want like to run this for a really long time and have these characters really like grow and develop over the course of like months or even a year if I can get it to go that long. That's sort of the game I want to do. I want to do a really long-term chronicle just showing these characters and how they interact with this city, how they build this city through their narration, how that sort of thing goes down. It's going to be a really interesting experience for me and for all the players, because this is the most players I've ever had in one group, and I'm hoping this will be my longest session that I ever get to run, so we'll see how it goes. Can't really predict how it'll end up right now, but we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. Later.